friend. Situations in life coming, you gotta trust them. Found out many times in life you can't trust men. So I rolled solo, that process was an adjustment. Friends let you down, not around when you're needing them. Only here to take like a child, got you feeding them. Better off leaving them like salt, that's the seasoning. Killing black people, that sugar really depleting them. Knowledge over ignorance, rising above predicaments. Fighting for equality, speaking for all the innocents. These drugs they've been giving us, turning our people vigilant. Innocent dissidents, violence is coming imminent. Gotta fall a couple times to learn the lessons faster. Thinking will it matter if I skip a couple chapters? This life that I'm after got me climbing up the ladder. Won't be another rapper, bankrupt with the chapter. On another mission to get rich, just big chips. Head past the crown on solid ground, the kid switch. On another level, these devils can't block the business. The kid get psycho with a rifle, get your wig split. Change the game passively in the back, so happily. Jersey.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Community Soldier. I'm your host, Justin Counts, and tonight we have a very special episode lined up just for you. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you're a loyal listener, thank you for spending the time with us tonight. This podcast is all about building stronger communities, supporting one another, and sharing practical wisdom for everyday challenges. Now, tonight, we're going to be diving into a topic that's on a lot of people's mind, and that's hustling. Specifically, hustling legally, hustling for a living. That's what I call it. That's right. So we're talking about making money, whether it's working in a gig economy or starting legitimate side hustles and even stepping into the exciting world of entrepreneurship. Whether you're trying to make some extra cash or pay off a debt or build your dream business, this episode is going to be for you. Now, here's what to expect with tonight's episode. First, we're going to break down the ins and outs of gig economy and how you can maximize your earnings while staying efficient. We're going to also explore the art of building a side hustle, from identifying your skills to marketing your services. And finally, we'll take a deep dive into entrepreneurship, including step-by-step tips on creating a solid business plan to turn your hustle into a full-fledged business. And because I want you to succeed, I've created a free business plan template that you can download and get started right away. You'll find the link in the show notes and on your Facebook page at Community Soldier Podcast or my Facebook Justin Counts page. Now, before we get into all of that, let's take a moment to talk about what hustling really means. I mean, it's more than just making money, right? Hustling is about adaptability, resilience, and finding creative ways to build a better future for yourself and for your loved ones. Now, it's not always easy, but it's always worth it. So grab a notebook, get comfortable, and we're going to get ready to get started. Hustlers, this one is for you. Let's jump into gig economy first and see how you can make gig economy work for you. Community Soldier Podcast would like to take this time to thank one of our number one supporters and sponsors for today's episode. We have Pamela Lee. Pamela Lee is a local entrepreneur. She specializes in photography as well as custom designs. She is very fluent in working heat press and dealing with all of the different materials. Come see her. She has a lot of knowledge and she has a lot of products for you to guys support. She also does event photography. So if you need a photographer for one of your events to either capture in video or pictures, feel free to contact Miss Pamela Lee on Facebook. Community Soldier. All right, guys. Welcome to another edition of the Community Soldier Podcast. Now, today we're taking a deep dive into hustling and why we need programs like Hustling for a Living. So, let, let me start off first by defining what I mean by hustling. See, because I know we've been stuck in one type of hustling for a long time. And those versions of hustling always lead to death or destruction. So anytime that you hear me say the word hustling, you have to understand that we mean in the terms of this definition. A hustler is a person who can make it happen for themselves and their families by any legal means necessary. By any legal means necessary. Now, that could look like a million different ways, right? There's so many legal hustles out there, right? We just have to learn how to tap into them and how to differentiate a hustle from a business and a hustle from a hobby. So understand that every time that we're talking about hustling for a living, we're talking about legal hustling. What can you legally do to make legal money? Right? That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about drug dealing, selling dope, things like that. Those is old school, played out hustles that lead to death. Right? We know this. We've seen it over and over and over again. So what we're talking about is how to take something that maybe you're good at, a skill set, or you could be a creative person and you can take something that you were given a skill to create beautiful things. You could turn that into a hustle and you can also turn that into a business. And we're going to talk about that for a little bit. Hello, Miss Davita. She says, I'm a hustler because I have things I need to get done and people are dependent on me to make it happen. You can also say that I have favor with man and God. Amen. Yes, ma'am. That is the true definition of a hustler. You make it happen by any means necessary. See, I grew up on the East Coast in New Jersey, where oftentimes you would see on the side of the highways on a hot summer day, you would see the local, maybe the homeless guy. Instead of holding up a sign, I'm homeless, begging for change, what you would see is the homeless man would have a cooler full of ice because he knows that in New Jersey on the traffic on the highways during peak hours, it's at a standstill. So all of the cars getting on and getting off of the highway, you're at a standstill. So that's enough time for him to make a transaction with almost every car that comes through there. And you have thousands and thousands of cars coming through there within hours, right? So I would see the homeless men selling their waters, and I would think, man, imagine how much money he's making buying those waters at 25 cents, selling them at $1 each. He's got roughly 200 to 300 cars coming through here every hour. You sit out here for 8 hours a day. Think about how much money he could possibly make. And that's one example of like what started my early interest into hustling for a living. I mean, it doesn't matter what the hustle is. I started off, I remember with my friends, we purchased one lawnmower, one rake, and one shovel, and we started our lawn care business at we maybe 11, 12 years old. And we locked up the whole neighborhood. Anytime anybody needed any services done, me and my two or three friends, we would get it done and we would split the funds. So on every snow day during school, we would shovel all the driveways for all of our neighbors at $20 a piece. We'd have three, four, maybe sometimes up to six guys helping, and we'd be able to do all of the houses in the neighborhood within half of a day. All of us would have fat pockets, and it taught me a very good lesson early on in life on hustling and the power of making money for yourself. Now, I just want to play something real quick just to kind of put this in your mind frame of why we as a people need to really hustle.
Is that because of? I mean, of course, the stardom, the celebrity, the financial side. But before then, I mean, you were alive.
Yeah.
Before 2020, you were alive. You were healthy. Those should have been tens as well, though, right?
Nah, homie. I felt less than. I was even though I was alive, I was a free. I was healthy. I was a struggling father. Uh, yeah, nah, homie. I felt less than, and at times I felt uh I felt unworthy as a father because you couldn't financially provide. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't give your kids, you can meet their needs, but you couldn't give them what they wanted. At times I had to pull my daughter out of, my daughter did horseback riding, gymnastics, dance. So at times, I couldn't afford to keep putting in horseback riding because that was an expensive extracurricular activity. At times your mother need help. You couldn't help mama. The wife was giving me weed money at times. Some days I had to battle between do I get the kids something to eat from fast food, or do I try to go home and see what's at home to try to make or put gas in the car? So that was that inner man didn't feel good at times, homie.
Yeah. Since you
Man, when I heard Charleston White say this, it immediately took me back to why I needed to hustle and why it was important for me to share this skill set that I've learned over the years. See, because I can distinctly like remember what it felt like when I first came home from prison, um, a newly returning citizen, returning neighbor, how I like to say, just coming home. You've been off the streets for a few years. Job history looks very shady. You know, it's hard to really get back out here and get rolling, right? There's so many obstacles, so many challenges, roadblocks that you have to deal with as a felon in today's society. You get denied housing, you get denied jobs. It's basically you become a population, a group of people that legally can be discriminated against. And you have to navigate that with a positive attitude. You have to navigate that with optimism. And when you're a man with a family, the only thing that you want is to be able to financially provide for your family. I don't know about y'all, but the way that my pride is set up, I couldn't ask my wife or my girlfriend at the time. She was my girlfriend at the time. We were dating. I couldn't feel comfortable asking her for things that I needed. It was to the point where she would have to force me to take things because as a man, you grow up with the old society of needing to provide, protect, and a lot of those things revolve around financial stability. So as a man with no financial stability, what do you have to bring to the table? So that's what birthed me into becoming an entrepreneur. So in my personal journey, I started my first business in 2016, a year after I came home from prison. I started a business called Straight Up Media, where we were selling Dish Network, satellite, and then shortly after, I also started All for Less. So that's how I got started. And the need is because when you're in poverty or you're coming from generational poverty, if you don't own a home, there's literally almost no way for you to surpass that poverty level. The only way that you can is if you go to college, you get a good job, and you pay those loans back. You find a job making 150,000 a year, then you can surpass that. But for most people, what we're seeing is that when you're in poverty, for one, everything costs more. That education that you need to make that $100,000 salary, that education is going to cost you about $70 to $100,000, depending on where you go to school, depending on how long you do. All of those things are factors. So for people that are already in poverty, just to even go get that education can be crippling financially. So this is why we need legitimate hustles. This is why we need to become entrepreneurs. Now, I want to talk to y'all first about gig economy. Cause see, gig economy is like one of the easiest ways to become a legal hustler. It's one of the easiest ways. So in the hustle for a living class, I like to, for one, introduce people to why we need it, right? How can we get started, right? We want to teach people how to get started, no matter what level you are at. See, a real hustler can make $1 out of nothing. Out of nothing. I learned this in prison. See, when you walk a prison yard, the the one thing that I took away from it, I mean, when you look past the surface level of things, when you look past the guys playing basketball, when you look past the guys walking the track, when you look past the towers with the guards in them with the guns. When you look past all of that and you see the guys out there selling birthday cards, you see the guy hair braiding or twisting locks. You see the guy fixing headphones. You see the other type of hustles that they have, tattooing, laundry guy, all different types of ways to make money inside of the prison system. I saw how guys who had no family, no friends, because they've been in the system a long time. I saw guys make income from for themselves. I saw guys take $25 beard trimmers. Literally, they were electric beard trimmers, maybe the size of this remote or smaller. And they'd take these electric beard trimmers and they would start doing regular haircuts with them. And these guys got so nice with these beard trimmers that only had 3 levels of guard on them for the fades. And they would give you the most crispy haircut that you ever had with those beard trimmers. Literally, it had maybe a 2.5-inch cutting path, 3-inch cutting path, if that, and would crispy your hair up for $3 a piece. Writing letters and making cards, yes, that was big income in prison. Guys that had the talent to draw would make beautiful Valentine's Day cards and would sell them on the yard, $2, $3 a card. Watching things like that taught me that no matter what, there is a way to make an income for yourself, right? We watch these companies do it all the time, but for some reason, we're the only ones that think that we can't do the same thing. I mean, think about it. Uh, Someone said in their head, you know what? I'm going to create an app that when somebody wants some food, they're going to pay me to get their food delivered to them. Not only am I not going to go get it myself, somebody else is going to get it. I'm going to pay them and they're going to split the money with me. And I don't do anything. That sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. I'm going to pay somebody else to arrange a food delivery for me. And then it sounds even crazier that somebody is willing to drive, go pick up a food order, and split the money that they should get with somebody that does absolutely nothing. That's DoorDash, folks. Somebody created an app, a company called DoorDash, and they allow you to go order your food. Somebody picks it up, and we give DoorDash money for making it happen. That's something out of nothing. They're making money off of nothing. Whatever money that it took to develop their app, that's what it costs for their business structure. They don't pay for workers. They have no overhead, no stores, no vehicle costs, no insurances to pay for. The whole platform is based off of the money that we give to them. That's gig economy in a nutshell, man. See, that's one thing that I like about today. You know, my granny always used to say, like, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? And that same saying applies to making money. There's so many ways to make money in 2025. It's crazy that I tell people that if you don't have multiple streams of income, if you don't have multiple streams of income, then you can expect to struggle if you're already struggling. I mean, if you're already working 40 hours a week and you're paying your bills and you're like, I'm broke, right? I don't have anything else. There's no money to do anything, right? Your options are either to get a second job, right? And you may be able to work another 20, 30 hours a week if you know, you really push it. But that's also more time away from your family, more time away from your children that you don't have to be there. And it might cost you more money because you have to pay for that extra daycare, right? So that's not always the answer. But imagine if you had a way to make money while you're sleeping, make money while you're at work already, make money while you're on the clock of your regular job, you're making money. That's what we teach people in the Hustle for a Living class. That's what we teach people. So one of the basic things I always tell people about gig economy is that one, there's money in gig economy. You just have to figure out what your niche is. What do you want to do? What do you like to do? Look at the different platforms and decide which one do I have the resources for right now that I can do right now. That's what I ask myself every time that I see one come out. But for people that's like confused on earning potentials on some of these, let me just break down some of the highest paying gig economy jobs. For right now, delivery drivers, companies like Amazon Flex and DoorDash, they're earning up from $15.74 to $25 an hour. $15.74 to $25 an hour. Uber drivers, they can make money by giving rides. They're making over $20 an hour. Just driving your car, a vehicle that you already have. And see, what I tell people about DoorDash, DoorDash is my favorite one. See, I myself do DoorDash and I also do the Spark Walmart delivery service. I like the Spark. I ain't gonna lie. You work harder than DoorDash, but I like it. It pays. I'm averaging 25, almost $30 an hour on some days with Walmart Spark. But something like DoorDash can help a young woman with children get to that level to where she can surpass the need for subsidized living or for subsidized food. I'm going to say that again. Gig economy jobs, gig economy things, e-commerce can help a person not need Section 8. They won't need the Blair Park apartment. They won't need to turn in all their income at DHS for the food stamps. You won't need it. How I know that you won't need it? Because I've seen it firsthand. The type of money that you can make DoorDash and the type of money that you can make doing Amazon Flex, right? You can make more money than the average person that lives on the south side of Jackson. The average person on the south side of Jackson, study shows, makes around 20, 25,000 a year on average. A person doing DoorDash full time can make easily 35 to 50,000 just doing DoorDash. So I got some tips for y'all, people that do or that thinking about doing gig economy. First thing you have to do is, like I said, highlight the right app for you, the right platform, they call it. There's so many different platforms with so many different ideas. They have driving apps, freelancing platforms. You have task-based gigs. You have niche platforms like TaskRabbit, Rover, for pet care. Yes, and there are contract employees that make money on their own. I've worked 1099 as a contract employee many times, lending out my services, my experiences, my expertise, all for a fee that you can write out on 1099. And I have a tip about 1099 for y'all too later. We're going to talk about that. But when you choose your platform, right, the thing about being successful as a gig economy worker is you have to optimize your time, right? Optimize your time, right? Just because you are your own boss doesn't mean that you should sleep in every day. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't make any money on DoorDash." And every time I hear that, I know it's because they are doing it improperly or in an incorrect way. So the first thing that you have to understand is, as a person that hustles for a living, right? You have to understand that if you don't work, you don't eat. If you don't work, you don't eat. You have to think of yourself as living in a third world country where if you don't catch that, if you don't catch that gazelle, your tribe is not going to eat tonight. See, if I don't make money today, we don't eat tonight. I've personally been in that situation. And I've thrived in that situation for many years. I'm beginning to understand that it's a personality trait that God blessed me with. You know, we look at it as being different, um, or being neurodivergent. But I see it as a gift, as a blessing to be able to work under pressure like that. To have this ability to always make it happen for your family when they need you. That's what a true hustler is. See, I often tell guys that, why do we glorify drug dealers as hustlers? That's not a true hustler. That's like a car salesman. You don't have to be a true hustler to be a car salesman, because they coming for that anyway. When I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to buy a car. Very rarely do you see people, "Oh, let me just go to the car lot to go look around." Very rarely. Most of the time, people are coming there to buy a car. Your job is to make sure that you get them in one. That's a salesman, right? A drug dealer is nothing but a salesman, but not a true hustler. Not a true hustler. I say that because a true hustler can sell anything, right? That's you're a master salesman. You've mastered that level. I can say to myself, and I can say to you that I am a true hustler because I've mastered the art of sales. I've mastered the art of making a sale. I've mastered the art of making a dollar from nothing. I've mastered that. Am I rich? No, I'm not there yet. But I know in the right situation I can be. I know that if I give you the right information that you can be, especially for those that don't have all of these systems or life on their back. Because trust me, if I was 19 years old with all of the knowledge that I have now, the 40-year-old version of me now would be totally different. But we didn't have access to the internet the way we do now. We didn't have all of this information like we do now. So I say that to say this. These tips that I have for you, they can either make or break you, right? But it's all going to be based upon how much effort you're willing to put in it. Are you going to remember that if you don't work, you don't eat? That's what optimizing your time is all about. All about. Sometimes I would do multiple apps at the same time. At the same time. Android phones, I don't know about iPhone. You know, I'm an Android user. But Android phones have this beautiful feature where we can split screen and we can pull up two different apps on one page. So you can have two apps open. So what I would do is I would pull up DoorDash and Uber Eats at the same time. And then whichever app would give me a better route first, that's the one that I'm going to take. See, because I learned that a strategy, and I'm going to go over that. I learned my strategy, and once I found out my strategy, my formula, I called it, I stuck to my formula, and that helped me stay on time, protect my time, and make money. So my next tip for you, and we're going to finish up the gig economy tips, is to protect yourself financially. Protect yourself financially. What I mean by that is make sure that you save money for your taxes, because as a gig economy worker, you're now a 1099 subcontractor. You're a 1099 subcontractor. So that means you work for yourself. You don't work for DoorDash. You work for yourself. You determine what you do for work on their platform. That's why you're able to deny or accept routes. You don't have to accept every route. That's also one of my pro tips. You don't have to accept every route. They make you feel like that with that acceptance rate stuff, but trust me, that don't matter. The most important thing though is to keep track of your expenses for deductions. See, deductions can make or break everything. And we're actually gonna bring up a little lesson on that. We're actually gonna bring up a new lesson on that. Let me see here. Let's see here. What can I do? Bang, we're gonna take that off. I do have a nice let me see here. Share screen. I got a video actually. Let me find it. I got a video basically on the app that'll help you with that. Let me see if I can pull it up on the screen. All right. Bear with me, guys, as I get this up here. All right, I got it. I'd like to give you another hustle for a living pro tip. Now, if you are an entrepreneur that happens to do a lot of driving for your business, no matter what kind of business you have, I mean, it could be anything. Say you have a cake making where you have a bakery from your home and you're delivering cupcakes regularly. You want to track your mileage. If you're doing something like gig economy and you're working with DoorDash, you are definitely going to want to track your mileage. And an easy way is to use an app similar to this one here. The one that I've been using is called Stride. Stride is a mileage and tax tracker. One thing that I like about Stride is that they handle several different things all within one easy to find app. This is available both on Apple and Android. As you can see from one of my personal trips back when I was door dashing heavily in 2023, one of my favorite things to do would be to drive to Ann Arbor and spend the day out there doing door dashes. So I would start my mileage from the time that I left because you can count your traveling to work. So being that we're driving to Ann Arbor, as you can see, I racked up over 253 miles for the day, which I was able to deduct up to $166.11. And they use the tax law 50 cents per mile for deductions. That's how they calculate. And one thing that I also like about the Stride app is not only does it calculate the mileage for your gas, it also calculates your average wear and tear and maintenance on the vehicle. So it's also going to calculate extra for those oil changes, tires, things like that, general maintenance, wear and tear. Having an app would be tremendous when it comes to doing your taxes. See, as you can see in 2022, I had over 5,000 miles logged in my tracker. Just in September alone, that year, just in 1 month alone, I made $1,200 in DoorDash. So when you think about $1,200 in DoorDash, how much of that would I have had to pay in taxes? Well, thanks to the app, it tells me that in the month of September, if you look on the left-hand side, where it shows my deductions, it tells me how much I can deduct for the year, and it can tell me how much I can deduct per day. So let's just look on September 29th. On September 29th, it says I drove 207 miles that day. So I was able to deduct $129.41 that day alone. And those deductions is actual money back on your taxes. So that shows to the IRS that you actually made less because I had to cover these expenses. At the end of the year on the app, you can request your tax summary, which will give you your full breakdown of what you owe, what you made versus what you're allowed to deduct off of your taxes by law. And remember, ladies, this helps when you're living in a situation where maybe you have to show your income because you live in a subsidized housing, right? Well, technically, income cannot be counted until after it has been taxed. So if you're living in a subsidized housing right now and you want to start door dashing, don't worry. You don't have to report that income until you pay taxes on it. So what that means for you right now today, if you started a business right now today, you wouldn't have to report that income until you file taxes on that income next year. So next year is when that income becomes income because you've paid taxes on it. You can't report income monthly with DoorDash because the government does not know how much of that you're actually bringing home versus how much you made versus how much it costs you to make that money. So that's one of the benefits about being a 1099 contractor is that when you're living in a subsidized housing, this is the only way for you to hustle for a living without having your rent go up, without losing money off your food stamps. You're allowed to hustle for a whole year and then you can make your deductions and then you minus that from what you made and then you can report. So basically, let's just say that you made $5,000 door dashing, right? And it's going to sound like a lot, may make your rent go up, right? But when you have an app like Stride that keeps track of your mileage, your maintenance, it's going to remind you that hey, you made 5,000, but in order to make that 5,000, you actually had to spend 2,700 into it. So then that changes that number from 5,000 to what, $2,300. So that's a huge difference from saying I made $5,000 this year over 2,300. So hopefully this pro tip helps you guys. Just remember, use all the tools that we can in our toolbox and keep hustling for a living.
Uh, all right. Why is this still? All right. I don't know why that's still playing. We're gonna take a quick break, guys. Community Soldier Podcast would like to take this time to thank one of our number one supporters and sponsors for today's episode. We have Pamela Lee. Pamela Lee is a local entrepreneur. She specializes in photography as well as custom designs. She is very fluent in working heat press and dealing with all of the different materials. Come see her. She has a lot of knowledge and she has a lot of products for you to guys support. She also does event photography. So if you need a photographer for one of your events to either capture in video or pictures, feel free to contact Miss Pamela Lee on Facebook. Community Soldier Podcast would like to take this time to thank
one of our number one supporters and sponsors for today's episode. We have Pamela Lee. Pamela Lee is a local entrepreneur. She specializes in photography as well as custom designs. She, all right, we're back, guys. All right, hopefully, I figured out the little technical difficulties I was having real quick. It was tripping, but we back. I got it back on here. Yes, Miss DeVita, we teaching tonight, man. Trying to make sure y'all catch something real solid, man. I want to make sure that we leave y'all something with that's gonna last for a minute. So the Stride app, that's gonna help you protect yourself financially. That's what that tip was about. How to use the Stride app. Basically, it's every time you log on to your whatever you're doing, whatever your hustling is, if it requires you to drive anywhere. So door dashing. If you're doing DoorDash, you download the Stride app, log in, tap the I'm driving button. It's gonna track all of your mileage, and it keeps track, and it tells you at the end of the year what you're actually able to claim on your deductions. And this helps because what I was saying about being a 1099 and living in subsidized housing. See, I looked this up specifically because I have a hustle for a living program that's tailored to single moms living in subsidized housing. Single moms. This was one of the pro tips that I researched and I found for you because I wanted to figure out how can a young woman who is living in subsidized housing, how can she get to the next level if every time she makes money they penalize her. They make her rent go up. She lose her food stamps. All of this stuff happens because she's making money. How is that fair, right? Well, that's another discussion because it ain't fair. The system is designed to keep you stagnated, to keep you in poverty. The system is designed to keep you stagnated and in poverty. That's why anytime you make more money, they're going to charge you more immediately. It happens immediately. See, if the program was truly designed for self sufficiency, they would give you a grace period, right? They would give you a grace period of making that little extra money before they start taxing you, right? But no, what we see is it comes immediately. So yeah, you might make an extra $300 on your at your job because you're working more hours, but they're gonna take away $200 of your food stamps. So then you start to think like, dang, is that really worth it working that extra hours? Because really, I'm only making the extra $100, and I'm losing $200 in food stamps. Now I gotta spend $200 of the extra 300 that I was making on food. So then people start making real life choices because they're like, it's not worth it to surpass that level. It's too hard. We're not making that much. Especially if you're working at a job making $15 an hour or less. Somebody making $15 an hour, you're only making 1,200 every 2 weeks, 2,400 a month. That's before taxes. That's before taxes. Your rent is gonna be 30% of your income. You got car note, child care, food, entertainment. That money gone. But if you do something like DoorDash, you're a 1099 subcontractor, they can't count that money right away. And the reason why is because there's a stipulation. Oh, yeah, there's a stipulation. Let me see if I can find it for y'all, man. I don't want y'all to think I'm capping. Y'all know I don't cap, man. You know I don't cap, man. I'm going to find it for y'all real quick. There's a stipulation on what HUD considers income or not. See, they're real specific on what they call income. And it's because they have to be, right? See, HUD considers income from DoorDash as income when calculating eligibility for housing assistance, right? It is considered self-employment income and must be reported on your application, typically using your net earnings from your tax return forms, from your 1099. Now, why is that important? Because you don't get a tax return but one time a year, right? So if you started now door dashing, you can door dash all year and don't have to file nothing until when you file taxes next year and you get that 1099 contract form from DoorDash with your summary statement and it says how much you made, then you file that with your taxes. And if you're smart, you use my pro tip, download that Stride app, and then you'll find out I can work the system a little bit. See, these are the things that corporations do. These are the things that Donald Trump was talking about himself when he said, if you don't like the way my taxes look, change the laws. And what he was talking about is that there are laws that we have in our country that are created and tailored for the business owner, for the subcontractor, for the 1099 subcontractor, for the legal hustlers. People who own their own businesses actually pay less in taxes than people who work for them, for those businesses that actually make them the money. That's the beautiful thing about our tax code. So a person living in poverty, we can also take advantage of those same tax codes. And this is how. You start off as a DoorDash driver and you become a 1099 employee, even though you're living in a subsidized housing unit with no income, your rent is free. You can work as a 1099 employee, make that money all year. And then after you file taxes is when you claim. Now, the beautiful thing about being a subcontractor, this is another pro tip. Like I said, you can take advantage of these tax laws. So I was able to write off all of the things that I bought to do my DoorDash job. See, I learned to be effective in DoorDash, I needed supplies. I needed things like a hot cold bag, right? I needed a pizza bag. I wanted thank you cards, all types of things that I bought for the business. I learned that I can write those off and I can make that money back on my deductions. So the benefit is that even though it shows that I made $10,000, let's just say I made $10,000 extra for the whole year, right? What I was saying with the deductions is they allow so many dollars, X amount of dollars, your tax specialist will know this amount, right? They allow so many dollars in write-offs. So if you show that, yes, I made 10,000, but 3,500 of that was expenses that I had to spend to make my money. That's a write-off. and they'll give you that money back. They won't charge you in those taxes for that money, which makes your tax bill lower, makes your tax bill a lot lower than what it normally would be. You'll be taxed at a different rate. And you'll start to see that in most cases where you were supposed to pay because you owed, you'll no longer owe. That's my experiences with especially DoorDash. Because there's a lot of expenses in DoorDash that you don't even think about when you're doing something like that. So that'll lead you to my last pro tip for doing a gig economy app. No matter which one you choose, whether it's Spark, Amazon Flex, DoorDash, Shipped, Uber, whatever it is, you have to include all of your maintenance and your normal wear and tear into your calculations, right? So my formula to make sure that I'm making money every day is I never accept anything under $1 per mile, right? I know that the government reimburses me on my tax 50 cents per mile that I drive. If I'm making another 50 cents on top of that, that's $1 per mile. That dollar per mile will cover any of my costs that I have associated with driving. It's going to cover all of my gas. It's going to cover all of my oil changes, tires, whatever that I need for driving on DoorDash. If I stick to that formula, at least $1 per mile, it's going to work out. So what that means is like this. When the routes pop up, it's going to say $10, whole trip 10 miles. That's $1 per mile. Car washes, maintenance, insurance, yes. Clothes, cell phone, but exactly. All of those things are write-offs. And when you're working as an independent contractor, gig economy, all of those things become write-offs. So that's why I tell people start here. If you have the means, not everybody has the means. Not everybody has a car. Not everybody has it insured. Not everybody has a up-to-date license that they can use. But if you do have the means, this is an easy way that you can make it happen. This is an easy way that you can make it happen if you have the means. Now, it's okay if you don't, because I've been there too. I've been there too in places where I just didn't simply have it. So, what do you do? What do you do when you're in that situation? You give up? Nah, you figure something else out. And that's what leads me into your, your side hustles, right? Those are the things that people don't really consider like traditional businesses. And there's a lot of those. It could be, like I said, cutting grass, right? I'm not a traditional landscaping business, but I got a lawnmower, and I got a blower, and I got neighbors that don't feel like cutting their grass. So I know I can get these couple grasses every month, and then I make it happen every month. Now that's a hustle, right? Side hustle. You got this side money that can come repetitively. That's what I'm talking about. So, how do you identify a good side hustle? Right? A lot of people ask me this. How do you come up with these ideas for these things that you're doing? Like, where does that come from? And, you know, how do you do that? I said, man, first of all, it's just like when you're creating a business plan, and we'll talk about that later. You have to figure out a problem and you have to figure out a way to solve it. So you have to identify the problem because that's your need, right? Because a good hustle, it fills a need, right? A good hustler fills a need, right? because people buy either things that they want or things that they need, right? And a true hustler is to make them feel like they need it, right? That's a good true hustler. So once you identify the problem, you figure out what's the way to solve it. For example, it could be babysitting, daycare. When I look at the state of our community, right, I see daycare as one of the biggest challenges for young women. I say that because it's so expensive. It's so expensive for young women and young men, families. Daycare is so expensive right now, and it's so hard to obtain for so many people. So that in my mind, that tells me that's a need, right? That's a problem. How can you solve this problem? Somebody that's good at watching kids can easily make pretty good money by running an in-home private a private in-home babysitting service. I know in my family we always had that one person that we trust from around the way, from the neighborhood. We know we can, hey, Sister Susie got the young lady Latoya, yeah, she's 16. She needs some extra money. We can give her a couple dollars. She'll come over and babysit the kids for us while we go out. That's how our parents used to do it back in the day, right? So a person with a hustler's mentality, especially if you're living in a subsidized housing, that's legitimate income. That's le- and that's the best income because it's cash. You know, some people say if it was in cash, it didn't happen. I mean, I'm just saying, hustle for a living, hustle for survival. So a good side hustle, you learn how to fill a need, right? I, I know a young entrepreneur who has a sneaker shop in Lansing. And I watch this young man and I follow his page, the Turtle Shoe page. I watched this young man start from nothing, right? Just cleaning shoes individually, buying shoes here and there, selling them, reselling, to opening up a store. I watched that transition of people taking something that they're good at because they found that I have this skill, and with this skill is valuable because what do people pay for? They pay for things that they need and or want, right? And one thing that we will pay for is to be served. We pay for service. And the funny thing about people is we're willing to even put a luxury price tag on such services. Let me explain. See, you might start off as a side hustle because, you know, you bought you some clippers, you start cutting your friends' hairs, you might charge them $10 a haircut when you start off. Yo, I cut your hair for $10. You know, me being the reasonable, thrifty guy that I am, and you my best friend. All right, my guy, I let you cut my hair for $10. Cool, I'm there every week. You get to learn off me. You build experience, you grow, build your craft, all while making money. You do 10 heads a day, that's Good day for you, right? $100 a day. Good day for you. Now, if you take and get your barber's license, right? And now you could charge $40 for the haircuts now. Because now you're paying because I know a little bit more. So now I could charge a little bit more, right? Now I do that for a while, do it for some years, keep studying, keep learning new tips, tricks, techniques. Now I could charge $80 a haircut. And people coming. Why? Because we justify the premium price with the service and how we feel after we get out that chair. Man, my guy is celebrity barber now because he cut all of the stars. So he's starting off at $80 a cut. And if he got to come to your house, he charging you $500. Premium service. We pay for service. We pay for luxury service at a premium ticket. You just look at anybody selling plates nowadays. Plates start off at usually at $20 a plate now. $20 a plate. That's better than what some restaurants getting for a lot of their meals. So once you identify that need, then you can move on to the next strategy, which is going to be marketing. You have to figure out how to market your side hustle. Because if don't nobody know that you do it, or don't nobody know that you have this skill, this resource, they're not gonna call you. This is why I teach people how to use your social medias, whatever your social media is, your Instagrams, your Facebooks, your TikToks. I said Facebooks. You know what I'm saying? I'm mixing up TikTok and Facebook. We're gonna make a hybrid app. Seeing how everybody was devastated when TikTok went down. But use your social media to build up your side hustle. That's the one advantage that you have when you're a legal hustler. When you're a legal hustler, you don't have to worry about the feds coming to kick your door down. You don't have to worry about the police. I tell this to friends that I have, people that I know in the community that I know, they still stuck in that life. I tell them, you already have the skills that you need to get out of that life. You just don't know how to transition out of that. You don't know where to put your money to invest it properly so that you can feel secure enough with yourself to replace that revenue stream. And I understand, man, it's hard, man. It's real hard. And if we don't really know what we're doing, it could be impossible to figure out how to transition over. But really the transition is easy, and that's what I'm trying to show you guys. The transition is easy. Once you figure out what you want to do, just start marketing. Start getting on Facebook. Go to your local shops. Use the old school way. Make flyers, business cards. Use some of the new school methods, QR codes. We have all of these different type of resources to get your side hustle, your business out there. What's up, brother? My guy, Mike. Hey, listen, Mike is my business partner and my brother, man. Let me tell you about this guy. He's a hustler too. See, Mike, not only does he work like in maintenance and handyman, he's handy. He can make things, craft things. So I watch how he could take a side job, let's just say building somebody a deck, whatever it may be, right? He could take that side job, take a couple of days off, take an hour off, a couple hours off for the regular job, go do that job, make that money, and still make money from the regular job because of getting paid for the day off, the sick time. That's how you hustle for that extra things that you need in life. Woo, he said, I just dropped 2 G's towards our transmission. Man, for the plow truck. Plow truck, that's another big hustle right there. So I'm trying to teach him about tonight, Mike. So using your social media can really like help you, especially if you're not like a talker. Because a lot of people say, first thing they say is, I don't talk. I don't like people. Well, you don't have to like people. You don't have to talk for social media. Most of the things that you need to do for advertisement is just all posting. Post your picture, post your card, post your flyers, post your hours, post what you do. And you don't have to always talk to do those type of things. You can post pictures, you can post videos, things like that. There's all different types of ways that you can use it, the social media. There's all different types of ways. Just like Mike said, you just got to keep an open mind and always think creatively. There's so many groups on Facebook. There's groups for single moms, for people that like race cars. There's groups for people who ride bikes. I use social media all the time to sell items. Marketplace is a huge contributor to revenue streams. I mean, it's an easy way to make money while you sleep. So the last key strategy for side hustling is to stay organized. Like, of course, before we talk about that time management, you got to use that Google Calendar if you have to. Make notes for yourself, but set realistic goals for yourself. And what I mean by that is set realistic goals for yourself, like income goals and growth goals. So, if you're starting a side hustle and like Mike has mentioned, pallet crafting. Say you just started this pallet crafting side hustle and you know that it costs you X amount of dollars to make each item that you make, and you know you make X amount of dollars in profit off of each item. You should start to set goals for yourself financial wise as like, okay, I want to make $1,000 in profit within X amount of time. So let's say 3 months. I want to make $1,000 profit in 3 months. And you have to be realistic with it. And I say that because we all think that we can be millionaires and we all think that we have a millionaire idea. But realistically, you have to know that it's not going to always work out like that. People tend to look at what you're doing from the outside and they think that, oh, they're making a lot of money, but they have no idea what you're spending to get what you get. They have no idea the amount that you're spending to make the money that you're making in the current time. See, in business school, they teach you that you, on average, most business owners lose money their first 5 years before they make money. Do you know how crazy that is? That means the first 5 years of you being in business, you are going to spend more money than you make on average. This is why many restaurants fold under. many restaurants fold under because who can handle giving away free food for 5 years? Who can handle that? You have to be able to absorb that as a business owner because not every day, not every year you're gonna make money. That overhead, yes, that overhead is a mud. And even as a side hustle, you have overhead. Because, like I mentioned before, even with the wood pallet crafting, you have to buy nails, right? Saws, stuff to cut the wood, stuff to stain it. All of this stuff costs money. All of this stuff costs money. Places to store all of this stuff, all of that becomes overhead. So, no matter what type of hustle that you have, it's just like a business in that sense. You're going to have expenses. You're going to have expenses. Yeah, they are marked. Overhead is definitely the death of a lot of businesses and hustles. So that leads to one of my master tips, which is he with the lowest overhead wins. He said, I spent $112 in material just for doing some trim work down some stairs, but it ended up being a $400 profit. Yes. See, that's where you start to see that it's worth it to invest. Like, it's worth it to invest in your hustle, especially if it's going to help you make more money faster. That's a pro tip for real. So if you can buy something technology wise that can make your jobs faster, that means you can make more money in the end because you can do more. Those are the type of investments that are always great to make. So when you figure out your side hustle, start marketing your side hustle. You get out there and you're making money. You learn how to file your taxes on that. How do you transition over to the next thing? We'll talk about that in a minute. But before we jump into like transition into like official entrepreneur business person, I want to talk about another easy way people can get started into creating revenue streams for themselves. Right. Let me create this new scene real quick. I want to show y'all a website, couple websites that I use that I like right now. One we're gonna talk about actually this one. Real user friendly. So I teach ladies in my Hustle for a Living class that I tailored to young women. I know it's hard sometimes to start a business. I know sometimes like we don't know where to start, right? A easy way for us to make some good side money is with a lot of the things that we have in our house already. There's no need to overthink these things. no need to overthink these things. I mean, you just look at some of the things that people sell online. Usually, there are a lot of leftover items that the kids can't use anymore because we know they outgrow things like the weeds. We know they outgrow stuff like the weeds. So if you ain't using stuff no more, list that stuff online. This is an easy way for you to make money for yourself. Especially like I don't have a job. Like if I ain't have a job, which I've been in this situation, and I'll show you how I did. When I wasn't working and I had nothing to do, I survived off of these apps. Literally, I was going to the post office every day. It makes it so easy for you to make legitimate money for yourself. And you look at the prices on some of these things. This is a used Hello Kitty baby girl blanket, and it's $17 that's going for. Look at this skincare set sold for $24. And I mean, you can easily see how you can just take things that are in your house right now and make easy money. And I know people just like, oh, they don't believe it. They think that it's so hard to do. Really, it's not hard to do. It just takes time. That's all. See, Macari is an easy platform like eBay. Real easy to use. You can start off with things that you got in your crib, literally. This is how easy it is to become a legitimate hustler. Start off with regular stuff that you got in your crib. List those items. See, I had 488 listed items. I had 77 sales with a revenue of $1,681, a profit of $1,300. AOV is an average order value. That's the average price of the item sold was $25.66. Think about that. Impressions, about 183 people a day were seeing my items. That's huge, especially when you're in a small market like Jackson. To go global and have 183 people seeing your products that don't live here, it's a beautiful thing. Real easy to do. So that's why you'll see like Macari is like one of my favorites because it's easy to do. So I wanted to show y'all real quick how easy it is to list an item on Macari. So they even let you import listings from other places. So if you have a website where all of your stuff already listed on the website, you can do it from the other platforms as well. If you have your items in a spreadsheet, you can automatically import your items that way too. But it's this easy to do. I'll show you guys. We're on a new tab. All right. So hopefully you guys can see the proper screen now. So this is how easy it is to sell an item on Macari. Say you found that old item that you had in the house. For me, it's gonna be this hanging beekeeper. Upload your item. You can do this on the app too. They have a mobile app. They have a mobile app too. So you really only need one picture, but their policy states that if you're gonna use a manufacturer's picture from the advertisement, you have to have at least one real picture as well, thing that you take. So always make sure you take as many pictures as possible. That's a good pro tip. Make sure your pictures are clear, not too much stuff in the background. Buy you a photo box if you have to. One thing that I do is I try to give them as much um, information as possible. So, what I would do normally here in a normal situation, I would go research the hanging bee trap, find out which one it is, get all the information from off of the ad, and then insert there. So basically, I would do a copy and paste deal. I can't find this exact one, so I'm just going to use a generic one just for the giggles, right? So I can copy and paste a description off of the internet easily. Copy and paste, then I come to our description. Boom, paste there. You can add hashtags. That is good if you want to get your stuff out there to more people. Bee trap, bang, wasp. I might put wasp because those are irritating. Bang. I got my traps. Home decor, you put your categories, brands, if you have a brand. So if you're doing clothing items, sometimes the brand matters, the clothing. Condition, you have to be honest with condition. So they always have these categories. This item that I have, particular item, is new, but it's new without tags, no signs of wear, tear, and it's unused. If you look at my picture here, you can see it's still in the plastic because all I did was open the box and inspect the item. So that's open box new. That's what I call it, like new. Open box is like new. If it was used in any way, then you have these categories. You got good for gently used, one or few minor flaws. So if you're selling some old jeans that you have in the closet, you want to make sure you inspect them and put it honestly. If they're poor quality, tag them correctly and price accordingly, please. You don't want that rating hit if you're telling people things are new and they're not new. You want to be honest because the seller rating matters, right? Seller rating matters. So what I like about Mercari is that they do a prepaid label for you already, right? So all you have to do is put your zip code in there, where it's shipping from, which service that you want to use. Usually you can edit shipping. They have UPS, SurePost. We can use this label, or we can do our own carrier. So what you do is you're gonna weigh your item, of course. Now I know my item is probably about, it's not even 2 pounds, but let's just say 2 pounds, okay? I hit 2 pounds, select carrier. Now it's all about the time that you want it to come. Sites like Mercari, you don't get paid until after the customer receives their item and they rate you. They have 48 hours to give you a rating, or Mercari will automatically give you a rating and release your money. So it can take up to 2 days after receiving the item for you to get paid. So for me, I like to get paid fast. So I want to go with the fastest options. So most of the time I would be in that range, the US priority mail. But sometimes I also take in the item that I'm selling and the customer. So for me, that would be too high of a shipping to ask a customer to pay, right? $13.87 for an item like that. So what I would do is, being that I know how much I paid for this item, right? I would adjust my pricing to cover the cost of that shipping, right? To absorb that shipping, the faster shipping. So I'm going to select the fastest shipping, save. Who will cover that? The buyer, right? So now I'm going to cover that in the price. So I need to add at least $13.87 into my pricing to cover this item. So for me, I would need to sell this item at $20. I'm gonna say $20. $20. That's gonna cover the shipping fee for me. Okay. So Macari lays it out very easy for you. Their selling fee for their platform. Every platform has a selling fee. It's basically their fee for being the middleman. They're doing absolutely nothing. Like I told you guys about the DoorDash in the beginning of the show. They get $3.38 off of the sale. Meanwhile, you're gonna earn $16.62. And you can do things like smart pricing, which will put a floor, which means that they'll gradually lower the price of your item as the longer it sits. They say this basically enhances your chances of selling said item. So I don't know which brand this is. I'm gonna say unknown. I don't know what unknown London is, but it's unknown. I think Hobby Lobby maybe. So you just click list. You can't list characters with emojis. So I gotta get rid of the emojis in the description. So I'm just gonna write. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So what I want to do is I'm gonna do it without the emojis that they had in the listing. Bang. All right, and I'm gonna hit list, and that lists your item. So the only thing that takes you is time, right? That's all it takes is time to sit there and list all of the items that you have in your house. It takes time, but once it's out there, it's out there, and then people in the universe, they're gonna come across it. People scrolling Macari, because this is a phone app. This is an app that I have on my phone. Sorry it's running so slow, guys, but I think it's because I'm screen sharing. But this is an app that people have on their phone. And they even have a local version where you don't have to pay for shipping. You can even DoorDash items to your house. You can DoorDash items to your house. I mean, look at this. Crocs selling for high. Things that we have in our house already. Selling like crazy. And they have all types of categories. So you could easily take a site like this, selling things that you already got in your crib, and create legitimate income for yourself. That's what I want to introduce to y'all, man, with the hustling for a living. So getting started with Macari, I want to let y'all know like a couple tips to help you get started. One tip is declutter your home. Look for items that you no longer need, such as clothes, electronics, books, and household items. Focus first on the items that are in good condition that might still have value. To go set up your account, all you have to do is download the Macari app or use their website, create a profile, and add clear profile pictures to build trust with buyers. Take great photos. Use natural light and clean backgrounds to showcase items. Take photos from multiple angles and include close ups of any details. Write a clear description. Like I said, be honest about the item's condition. Include details like size, brand, and any flaws. Make sure you set up competitive pricing. Research what items cost and make sure that your price is better than everybody else's. Be responsive and friendly. Responsive means quick on the shipping. It's going to be one of your biggest uh, feedback points is the shipping time. So be diligent in how fast that you respond to orders or inquiries. Maintain a professional and polite tone in all of your interactions, all of your messages, and things like that. How to maximize your earnings on the Mercari platform. Let me show y'all that again. The Mercari platform, how you maximize your income, bundle things, bundle deals together, offer discount for buyers for purchasing multiple items. That'll help you increase your sales. Use the promote your listings button. That's a promotional tool that they use. It's basically like paid ads in Mercari. Use the app shipping labels to save time and money, like I showed you guys. Make sure you use the app, the shipping, because that's going to be crucial for your customers. Make sure that you choose the proper shipping. Mercari is just one of many. They have other apps too. So what I really want you to know is this is just one app, but there's also other apps too, like Poshmark. I don't know if you guys have seen Poshmark before, but Poshmark is another app that you can use. Let's check them out. We'll check it out in a second. Let me load them up. But I know Poshmark is good for apparel. I know a lot of people use Poshmark to buy and sell a lot of their old clothing items. And I know with a lot of ladies I see on the app, they use it. They use it to sell like their purses. I see that a lot. A lot of different little things that they had in the crib. You see that a lot on the platform. So no matter what app you use, whether it's eBay, apps like this Poshmark, or if you use all of them, multiple like I do, Facebook Marketplace, no matter what you use, these are all just avenues for you to make money that increases your ability to create money for yourselves. Revenue streams. This is how you create multiple revenue streams for yourself. This is how you make money in your sleep. And like I said, ladies, you can start with things that we're accustomed to throwing away or giving away. I know we want to help people. I know we want to help people. It's such a good. It's the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? It's the right thing to do. But sometimes in helping people, we hurt ourselves because we miss out on opportunities where we could be making some money. Right? Taking things that we don't want anymore and putting them online because one person's trash is another person's treasure. It's a used Coach purse. Used Coach purse somebody selling for $125. Another Coach purse, $55. Ladies, how many Coach purses y'all got in y'all closet? Just sitting around collecting dust. How many shoes you got in your closet just sitting there collecting dust that you know these is good shoes, but you don't wear them no more? Fellas, how many old Jordans you got up in your closet that you ain't wearing no more? These can be easily turned into legitimate income. Easily. Side hustles. That's an easy side hustle. And this is called e-commerce. I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. Whenever you're selling anything online, this is what they call e-commerce now. E-commerce is the new game now. Like I tell a lot of my friends that used to do other hustles that weren't particularly legal, they're better hustles for you out there if you just took the same mindset and applied it to other things. And there are other legal things that you can apply. Let me show you. This is one that nobody ever thinks about. Like one of the first things that I learned was that you can use platforms like DHgate, Alibaba, AliExpress, Temu. You can use these platforms to build relationships with Chinese suppliers. And I know people like, oh, you buying products from China? Yeah, da, 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 da. Yes, we buy products from China. You know why? Because sometimes China has prices that are affordable for young entrepreneurs. China has prices that is affordable for young entrepreneurs. So no matter what I'm looking for, I can find a supplier that probably makes them. But it takes research, and a lot of people don't know how to research those things, right? But you have to be careful. That's the thing. You really do have to be careful when you're on an app like this because you don't know the people. You're just going off of what you see and the information that you can read. So I want to show you real quick before we run out of time tonight how I actually search the app and how I locate products that I might want to sell, products that I want to invest in, right? Things that I see, right? It's really easy. What are they showing me? A bunch of nonsense, the stuff that I don't want. I've been looking into those Fire Stick remotes because a lot of people lose Fire Sticks and they ask me all the time, do I sell Fire Stick remotes? And I always have to tell them, no, I don't. But I think I'm going to start. So, first thing that I do is I always go back to that question. I find the need. Who needs this item, right? Can I sell this item to everybody? Like, how many people out there is going to be my demographic? So, for an item like this, I know this is a limited item. This is only going to be sellable. I can only sell this item to people that got dogs, right? People that got dogs want to watch their dog easy. But I know a lot of dog owners, right? So an item like this, I would look at when I'm doing my research. How much does it cost me? It cost me $4.64. Now that's okay, but when you're a true hustler that hustles for a living, you have to learn how to invest to maximize your profits. And the one thing about these apps, they tell you how to reduce your costs, right? How you reduce your costs is by buying in bulk. They make it real easy for you. If you buy 60 or more, your price reduces down to $1.30 a piece. So all we have to do is purchase 60 of these things. Boom. 60 of them, $1.30 a piece. You'll see overall it costs us $78. Bang, $78. And we have 60 of those, right? 60 of them. Oh, it didn't even, I'm sorry, it didn't even take us to the screen. So y'all didn't even see none of that. Y'all didn't see none of that. None of that. Let me put it up here again. Man, that way you can see the example that I use. So an item like this, you would be able to maximize your income by purchasing in bulk. Because like I said, let me show y'all again because y'all clearly couldn't see it. That was my fault, y'all. So in order to get the best price, I have to purchase 60 of them, which you'll see in the calculations. If I purchase one, it's $4.64 a piece. If I purchase 60 of them, the price drops down to $1.30 a piece. Now look, how much could you think I could sell these for? Can I sell these for at least $3? Yes, I definitely could sell these for at least $3, doubling my money, right? Because the goal when you hustle is at least to double, triple your money if possible. That's what these businesses are doing, right? So if you want to double your money, that's at least making $260. But let's say we make $3 per each one, and we sell them all. That's $180, and it cost us $78. So that's a profit of $102. $102 profit selling shampoo brush for animals. I mean, it could be that easy. It can be that easy in some cases. But there's a right and a wrong way to shop for suppliers on here. So I want to go over that with y'all too real quick. When I'm searching for an item, let's just say I'm searching for a tracksuit. So I go tracksuit women's. I type it in, I search. The first thing that I do is I come by sort by customer review because I only want to deal with the reputable people on the app. I don't want to deal with the scammers. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to deal with the Chinese people that swiping swiper no swiping. I ain't got time for them. You know what I mean? I want to deal with the reputable people that got a lot of orders, a lot of sales, and they show you on the app, like just the first one right here, this designer tracksuit. This is something obviously that they copied. You know, they open. Let's see. It's gonna make me open in a new tab. Yeah, I gotta open. I gotta open a new tab. So now let me show you this tab now. So if I was to purchase this first tracksuit that they have here, this is some type of designer tracksuit. I'm not sure what it is. The first tip that I can tell you guys that I look for is I always come down and I look at the reviews. I always look at the reviews. First of all, when you're buying off a DHgate, you have to understand that these are uh, Chinese suppliers, so they will often sell bootleg merchandise. And y'all know what bootleg merchandise is. I ain't gonna go into the whole deal. So I don't buy all of the clothing items off of here. But if you do find an item on here and you want to know what it really looks like, always go to the reviews, because the picture is going to show you this funky picture that don't really say nothing or show nothing. That's because of trademark laws and things like that. So if you go to the reviews photos from the customers, those are always going to be what the product really looks like. And whatever White Fox is, I'm not sure. I haven't heard of. I don't keep up with these brands, so I have no idea what that brand is. But so that's how you do that. How do I exit that? Go back. So it won't let me go back, but that's all right. So with an item like that tracksuit, if I wanted to buy it, I'm gonna look at, for one, I have to see how many people have bought this tracksuit, right? Versus how many people are happy with it, whatever the case may be. All this information I have to know before I really decide whether I'm gonna really rock with it or not, right? So let me show you what else I look for. So I can see like a lot of people are buying it. I look at the reviews, look at all the comments. The quality is jacket are impeccable. Price is affordable. Boom. Look at the pictures that they provide. Okay, this is a decent. Yep. Wrinkled as heck. Okay. All right. Now I know if I want to buy this or not. I'm going to trust the word off of these people on here. Boom. I can hit buy now. It'll take me to all of that. Bang, bang. I can make it happen. Easy peasy. But I always look at how many they've sold, how many reviews they have. What's the average review? The average review, you see, most people have a good experience with this seller and they have a lot sold. So that shows me that this seller is like a trusted seller on the app, right? So I could take that even further, right? Because I don't just use that to decide on whether or not I'm going to rock with a supplier, right? Because sometimes we giving them a lot of money, especially if I wanted to go and order more of these, because like I told y'all before, we know that we get a discount when we order more. So I'd have to order 39 suits to get the price to go from $16 a suit to $13 a suit. So just to save me $3, I have to order damn near 40 suits. So I don't want to do that with somebody that I don't know, right? So I can do this, hit this button right here at the top right where they have the little messenger icon. And if you sign in your account and all of that stuff, which I need to do, let me do that real quick. Sign in, bang. Hopefully this unlocks me, let me in. All right, bang. It took me out of my item, away from my item, but that's okay. We can do the same thing with any of these items. So let's just say we're doing these polos. So if I hit the message icon, it'll take me to boom, the little chat. I can go check out their store, with the hit the store icon. If I hit the store, boom, I can see everything that they normally sell in their personal store through the site. So I can find more products that they have. Ooh, okay, okay. So this gives you a better way to actually connect with different suppliers. So I've really used this as a tool, a research tool to find and locate different suppliers. Let me show y'all one more. It's just like this cardigan sweater, right? If I wanted to get to know this supplier, I would hit the supplier icon. It's going to open up their store like such. I can filter through their stores, see what else they sell. See what's the number one red flag if you get on their store and they don't have a lot of products. That's the number one red flag that you're dealing with a scammer. Or if you're saying the same item multiple times, then you know you're dealing with a scammer. But if I'm scrolling and I like what I see, right? I like what I see, I can come out here and get some more information. Whatever platform you're using, whether DHgate, Alibaba, AliExpress, they have levels to the sellers. This one is a level 4 seller. He's got a couple badges. He's been around for 2 years. He's a 2-year factory seller on DHgate, meaning he has his own factory where all of his products come from. 95.7% positive feedback with over 15,499 transactions. Now, his some of his disadvantages are on-time delivery rate, so he delivers slow. He's slow for disputes, and his repurchase rate is below average. So he's not getting a lot of return customers. So that shows me a lot of information that I need to know about this guy's products if I take the time to really research. So what I tell people is when you're shopping on the app like DHgate, when you're using the app like this to find products to invest in, find products to hustle off, use all the information that you have. There's so much information that most people never look at. But try to use all of the information available to you before you make a purchase. This is what's gonna protect you from being scammed. It's what's gonna protect you from being scammed. So DHgate is just one of the apps that you can use to find products and find inventory to sell. But there's more, like I said, there's Alibaba, AliExpress. A lot of people are using Temu right now. But DHgate is the OG of the OGs. DHgate came out before all of them. So that's what I default to. They do have buyer protections on here. It does take a long time for your items to get here, and that's because they are shipping directly from China most of the time. So you do have to wait longer. But for the people that are hustlers, I mean, ladies, y'all know how much the hair store charges you for a 30 to 40-inch lace front. Now, I know the beauty supply store, they taxing y'all. They gonna tax y'all sleeves off. But really the stuff don't cost that much. And you could purchase it yourself. If I was a young woman that did hair, this would definitely be my hustle because see, you can build relationships with these store owners. Let me show you how easy it is. Like I told you, you go to their site, Queen Hair, they site queenhair.com. Look, she got new arrivals. Bang, bang, bang. Okay, this is what you got. On the new arrivals, let's check out your other products. Hair wigs, lace wigs, synthetic wigs. Okay, a lot of synthetic wigs, 93 different products. Let's just go to hair wigs. Bang. All these different type of hair wigs for sale. Let's just check out this one. Oh, they got a Brazilian red joint. Let's go back. That's Hot Girl Summer. That says Hot Girl Summer. So let's just say I want to build a relationship with a seller like this. The first thing that I want to do is I want to talk to them, right? Because if I'm going to invest some money with somebody, I got to build a relationship. I got to talk to you. So all you do is hit the message icon. It's going to open you up to your message place. The first thing I do is ask for, can I have a factory tour? So this is a insider's tip that I learned from a hustler that I know, right? I learned that asking for a factory tour is kind of like, yo, show me what you got. You know what I'm saying? Like, show me what you're working with. It's kind of like showing, like, man, where you getting this stuff from? You know, some people ask you all the time, like, where you get your stuff from? Asking for a factory tour is like asking where you get your stuff from. So I do that a lot just because, you know, why not? So I messaged this seller and I asked them for a factory tour. So what'll happen is they'll message me back and they'll send me pictures. And they'll probably send me pictures of the factory that they're actually making these hair units at. See, because one thing we know that most of our products are made in China. We don't make any products anymore. We know we ain't making no hair units over here, but in China they are, and they making thousands of these hair units a day. So they'll send me pictures back of their factory. So that gives me more information to trust this seller. And a lot of times I will even take it a step further and ask them for their WhatsApp number. I don't know if you guys are familiar with WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is an app that you can download on your app store, whether it's Android or iPhone, and it allows you to speak to people overseas through the internet, and it doesn't cost you any extra money. Because if I was to communicate with people in China through my regular text message, this would cost me a lot of money that I don't have, right? So in order to do so, I would have to use an app like WhatsApp, right? I would have to. So WhatsApp allows you to communicate with people in China that have Chinese numbers. So I use the WhatsApp, get their phone number, ask them to send me more pictures, send me more information. You'll see each seller has coupons that you could take advantage of. $5 off of orders over 500. But me, you know, I'm a super hustler. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get on the inbox, hit that inbox. Yo, what's the lowest I could get for them? I want to purchase multiple, right? because I know this is what I do, right? Say I want to do a bundle of 100 wigs. Bang. So now I done asked for a bundle of 100 wigs. I'll wait for them to respond back to me, whatever the case may be. And they'll let me know, all right, it's going to be X amount of dollars for the 100 wigs. And then I could tell them, I don't want just this wig. I want one of each one that you have. So I want two of each style that you got, whatever. I want them all to be between 36 to 22 inches long. How many can I get? How much 100 wigs gonna cost me? Once I figure that out, I can figure out the math on how much I can make off of each item. That's how we start to figure out our hustle. That's how we start to figure out, is this valuable for me? Is this gonna fill a need in our community, right? And to me, this would fill a need in our community. Because how many females do we know in our community that's spending thousands of dollars for hair that they can get, cheaper? It's just that a lot of people don't understand how to navigate a site like this safely, so they choose not to, right? But they will pay you to do it for them. See, somebody will buy this wig for $40, $50 right now. Right now. Somebody that wants this wig will buy it for $40, $50 from you right now. And the reason why they will is because at the hair store near them, they're gonna charge them 130. Right? They're gonna charge them 130 at the hair store near them. Right? So if you could supply the same quality, the same style for less, then that's something that you go with. And people will go with it every time. So that's basically DH Gate in a nutshell. It really ain't too much to it. It's just basically learning how to maneuver through the platform safely. But before we wrap it up, I just want to close with a couple more tips on how to upscale your hustle. First, you got to reinvest your profits. That's one of the big things. You're always going to be reinvesting your profits. Use that money you earn to buy items to sell to make more money. Use clearance sales, yard sales, thrift stores. All of these can be resources for you that you can invest the money that you've made already, turn it around to make more money. Expand across other platforms, not just Macari. Like I said, use Facebook Marketplace, you know, use eBay. There's more than just one. So make sure you use all of them. Make sure you use all of them. Now, the last section I want to talk about is some advice for my entrepreneurs that want to start up a small business. The first thing that I want you to know is to start small but think big. Like you might begin as a side hustle while like you working full time. That's how I started all my businesses, was as a side hustle. But always reinforce the importance of learning as you grow. Because the more that you learn, the more experience that you will have. And like I told you, experience can turn into a premium, right? Build your network, attend local business events, join online forums, connect on LinkedIn, do things to get yourself and your business out there. Also, know your local resources. There's local programs offering business grants. You have the local Jackson Chambers of Commerce for entrepreneurs. We have a Black Chambers of Commerce. Find those places. Take advantage of YouTube for those free courses, what I call YouTube University. One of the big tips for people that are starting businesses, for my young entrepreneurs that I don't want to overlook, is be careful how you manage your time. Be careful how you manage that time. See, sometimes we get into it and we're so focused, we're so hyper focused on building the business that sometimes other relationships can suffer, like family, friends, children, because we get so stuck in the grind, right? So be careful of that. And that's also how you burn yourself out. Another pro tip is don't undervalue your work by pricing yourself too low. Most young entrepreneurs, hustlers, we undervalue ourselves and we underprice. So when you're creating your business plan, you should do your research and do your homework. Look at how much other people are currently paying for the same service or for the same item and price yourself accordingly. If you want to be known as the best price, then you should always make sure that you're the best price. If you're running on, hey, we're not going to be the best price, we're actually going to be the most expensive, then you need to know why you're the most expensive, right? And the last tip, basically, make sure that you track your income, your savings. You need to know how much you're spending, how much it costs for you to make items, how much it costs for you to buy an item. If you're not keeping track of those things, you're going to be in trouble, man. It's going to be hard for you. So make sure that you're taking the time to track your income, what you're spending, and all of those good things. Because if you don't, you're just going to make it a lot harder for yourself. And you're going to find that really, like, your business not going nowhere and you double working. Now, I did create a template for anybody that wants to start their own business. Like, I know it's hard, like, to start your own business. You don't know where to start, what to do, and all of that good stuff. I built a template and I have the download link. I'm gonna also put it on the Facebook page as well. But basically, it's a real simple template. Let me copy the link here to the Google document, and I will add that on the Facebook page later tonight. So this is a real template, real easy template. It's very basic, but I wanted to leave it basic because that way you can fit it to whatever kind of business that you have. So one of the first steps when you're starting your business after you uh, filed for your business DBA, you're doing business as, or your LLC, after you've done that part and you've got your business EIN number from the IRS.gov, one of the first things you want to do though is create a business plan. So your business plan is what basically tells the banks, investors, what this business is. What's the purpose? It covers those important questions like what's the need? What does this fulfill? So this is a basic template, like I said, but this will basically help you get started on creating your own business plan for your business. So I want to just go over it real quick, real simple. The first section is going to be your business overview. You want to put your name of your business, your mission statement. Every business has a mission statement, and your mission statement should be clear, concise. It should basically let people know that you're fulfilling this need. It should clearly state what you're trying to accomplish as a business, right? You want to create your short term and your long term goals in your business plan. So if you started your business in your home, right? Say I started as an Amazon flex driver, right? But my long term goal is to own a fleet of Amazon trucks and become my own boss, right? In my business plan, I'm going to have my short term goal and my long term goals. My short term goal might be to save X amount of dollars for my first van. And it could be a deposit, like a $2,000 deposit. I need a $2,000 deposit for my first van. So that's going to be under my short term goals. Once I get my first goal completed, I'm going to have another goal. Once I get my van, now I need to pay the van off. That's going to be another short term goal. Or it might be a long term goal, depending on the term of my lease, right? Or the terms and conditions of your sale. But the point is, by putting your goals there, this will help you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, track your progress to see how far you've gotten or how far you still need to go, right? Target audience section. This answers a very important question. Who is your ideal customer? Who is the customer that is going to come to you, right? Who is the customer coming to you and why are they coming to you? What problem are you solving for them? So like I mentioned earlier with the daycare, say I want to start a daycare service, right? I know traditional daycare is expensive, and I also know that most places do not do after hours, right? So it might be a third shift. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of third shift factory workers. A lot of moms work third shift. And a lot of times, what you see is they have to find somebody. They have to have somebody watch their kids overnight. And then they have to do a lot of running around during the daytime, um, often choosing not to sleep because they have things to do. Okay, so now that's a problem. How can I solve this as a business? And then you start to answer those questions, right? That's what the business plan is about. Just answering those questions. Describe your offerings. What are you offering? I'm offering after hours daycare. What unique selling point? What makes you different than any other daycare service? Well, check this out. Not only do I daycare at night while you're at work on third shift, I also have a package that I can come in earlier, that you can do drop off earlier, and I do services like errands, or I do extra hour pickup times free included in my packages, so that you can run out and do a quick errand real quick. Whatever the case may be. But here in this section, you need to clearly state what sets you apart from everybody else. What's going to make you stand out? Your market and research section, you need to identify everybody in your area that is going to be a competitor to you. How many people around here have a daycare service like mine's? What's the trends nationally? Are there a lot of daycares going out of business? I need to know those things. How many new daycares popped up this year? How many daycares closed this year? Those are the answers that you want to find when you're doing your marketing research. And then that's going to lead you into your plan, your marketing plan, where you develop your strategies to help you reach your audience, your social media, your word of mouth, your events, and it'll help you determine your budget, if any. And I say if any because a lot of us start off our business by bootstrap, meaning our own personal finances. And advertising is the last area that you're going to invest in. I suggest to invest your money more in the beginning. Invest your money on your inventory, or if it's not inventory, your services, making your services better or more efficient. So if that means that you have to upgrade your carpet cleaner because you're a carpet cleaning service, and you need a better carpet cleaner that's going to clean those carpets faster, it's better for you to make that investment by upgrading your equipment than so much to say for you to do advertising in the beginning. And that's because for most businesses, advertising, a lot of it can be done for free. Social media, word of mouth is the most important. Word of mouth is gold. In events, we can do a lot of that for free. So don't spend a lot of money investing on things that you don't have to. And that's one of those things that you don't have to right away. So your budget and your financial plan, you need to understand your startup costs. Figure out what is it going to cost you to start this business. Um, Figure out your monthly income goals, realistic goals, like I taught you guys earlier. Monthly expenses, you can either use estimates or actual numbers if you've already started this business. What's most important, your timeline and your action plan. That needs to be a step-by-step milestone with deadlines, right? For example, I created my logo February 1st. February 15th, I want to launch my Instagram page. Create deadlines with realistic goals. That way you hold yourself to the fire. Challenges and solutions. List all your potential challenges, like your competition, any financial problems that you have. Write down ways to address them. So if you're really need an investor and one of your problems is a lack of funding to take you to the next level, you need to write that here, and it needs to be explained what you need the money for, to cover what challenge, what problem, and how you're going to solve that problem with said investment. And then lastly, you want to finish up with your executive summary, which is a one paragraph summary of the business plan, which includes the mission, the goals, and the unique selling points. This is where you basically wrap it all up. This is your fast pitch, your elevator pitch Write that down all up in there. And there you have it. We got an easy business template for you that anybody can use and anyone can follow. So if you need that, we'll post that as well with the video to tonight's episode of Community Soldier Podcast. But I want to thank you guys for watching, tuning in, sharing the video. We definitely appreciate it, and we'll definitely keep coming with better topics and trying to find more ways to create, inform, educate our community, man. Much love, y'all. Hope y'all have a good night.
Grandpa told me you lucky to have one friend. Situations in life coming, you gotta trust them. Found out many times in life you can't trust men. So I rolled solo, that process was an adjustment. Friends let you down, not around when you're needing them. Only here to take like a child, got you feeding them. Better off leaving them like salt, that's the seasoning. Killing black people, that sugar really depleting them. Knowledge over ignorance, rising above predicaments. Fighting for equality, speaking for all the innocents. These drugs they've been giving us, turning our people vigilant. Innocent dissidents, violence